Welcome to Hatching Creativity. This isn't just another behavioral health podcast. This is the place where thought leaders converge to talk about real-life challenges, breakthroughs, and pivotal aha moments. That you had mentioned earlier that the report that came out from Force.
Yeah.
I'd love if you could share a little information on what was gathered. What were some of the top takeaways from the Force data that you collected?
Yeah. So the annual summary, it described a set of de-identified data from over 150,000 unique patient episodes that were submitted by 55 different nationwide treatment providers. And so the annual report that was released last month, it describes the overall patient-reported increases in recovery capital, as well as decreases in substance use disorder and mental health symptoms, And they were observed across the course of treatment and throughout the first year of post-discharge follow-up. And so, Force was started back in 2020. Dr. Annie Peters is the executive director of Force, and it really is going to be instrumental in helping. I look at it from a policy standpoint, right? There's a number of different ways that you can look at it from an advocacy standpoint. The information that we're getting from these outcomes, Mike, is going to be really instrumental in creating policy change, because data drives policy change. And so for us to be able to say, okay, from a nationwide scope, here's the outcomes that we're looking at. Treatment does work. Here's how we know that. Here's the results that show us that. To be able to take that to legislators is going to be huge. And so this report is very exciting, and it is available for. We could include that link in the notes for this too.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
For sure. The objectives of Force, we try to make them really clear, and they include addressing several commonly expressed concerns about the state of addiction healthcare, right? And the need for standardized measurement, which you know all about, data accessibility, and the use of data to advocate for reimbursement, parity, and equitable access to services. And so access to treatment is a huge, really important component right now, because we have there's thousands of beds out there, but the access to treatment, there's a number of barriers that are out there. And so we need to work on, okay, well, what are those barriers? How can we reduce them? And what's working and what's not working? And so this annual report is really a nice guide to being able to see that.
I'm definitely curious about what data points are being measured. One of the conversations I have with treatment providers all the time is if you're just looking at the results, but not everything that you put into it on the front end, it makes it really hard to repeat the results or really hard to see what's can be improved. What kind of data are you guys looking at on the procedure side?
Yeah, so that's a really good question for Annie, Mike, that I'm sorry that I can't that I can't answer.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk with her about that. That's one of the things that makes compliance so important, because that's like directly related to those outcomes. Thanks for tuning in to Hatching Creativity. We appreciate your support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell all your friends about the show. And remember, it's never just about one thing.